Hello, Kaiju Seekers. Welcome to another live stream here. We're going back at it again with a Kaijunaut Drawcast. And then let me see here. Yep, should have everything set up. And let's see. There you go. So, I guess we're just back at it again with a cool little Drawcast live here. Let's see. So, how's everyone been doing? Hopefully, there are a few things that might be changing with my own personal life, whether it be with the job, workplace kind of thing. Been trying to make a change in that for a little while, but things are looking up. And then I know lots of my friends have been on a job hunt lately. And let's see here. We're just doing a typical draw and chill day, I guess. A bit impromptu, but the Drawcasts are always a fun place to show off how I do my art process and things like that. And hopefully I can get into a better financial situation to where I can afford to have StreamYard on the core, I think is what they're calling it now. Just gives us better features. Mhm. Let's see. A lot of my art consists of just using muscle memory to memorize all the shapes here. Muscle memory, I think, is a very valuable tool that any artist can have. So that way he has his own style he can refine as he gains experience. I think it's helped me out a lot. Of course, we got a little Godzilla going on over here. I'm just doing a quick sketch just to get us started. And then also have to share on the Zim Discord as well. Let's see. And maybe I'll have a few of my co-hosts on tonight if they want to talk about drawing and stuff. I kind of like the pose I got them in right now. If I can. Doing a bit of a Showa era vibe, Godzilla right here. He's like one of the ones I know best to draw, since a lot of his shapes are pretty well defined and simple. Nothing too complex going on about him, but in simplicity, there's a hints of complexity. Let's see, does this still feature some music? Okay, good. Let's see. Hear that? I'm also getting like an 85 or 84 vibe from this Godzilla drawing of mine. Sometimes I like to wing it when it comes to the dorsal plate designs. Like I'll just go with the flow of what I think the shape would best look like. Like my favorite design overall would be like Showa and Millennium style. What I would describe it as, because I think they have like some of the better plate designs. I don't like the dorsal arrangements on a few of the Heisei ones, mostly the earlier ones. I think from Mechagodzilla 2 onward, I do like the spine arrangements on those ones, but with Showa, it varies it up a little bit from film to film just because they changed the design so much on that one. So you get just a lot more variety. So I like to vary up my dorsal plate designs from, like, unless I have like one consistent design, I'll just do whatever I feel looks best. What is up, my crime world? Good to see ya. I also saw some of you guys were in the chat for Zims. What y'all going on? What you got going on there? I might invite some more people on if anyone's available to join in a few. Once I get this first sketch done here. And I might complete it throughout the stream, who knows? Or I might just do sketches. See which one of them we complete tonight. When it comes to tails too, I don't like Godzillas that have like overly long tails unless like Shin Godzilla is a little bit of an exception, I think, because it works with that design. Most of the times I don't think you should give Godzilla too long a tail. Like Heisei's got a little bit long at times. The Showa era never really got too long with its tails. Millennium, I think, had overall good design aesthetics. I also prefer my Godzillas to be stocky, but not too bulky or slim. See, I might make this screen a little bigger. Just see if you guys can see it well. And also, anyone who's watching, feel free to leave some suggestions for what you might want to see me draw. And I've done it before for Hoshi's special feature. If any guests come on and you want to share your screen to draw some stuff, more than welcome to do that too. I'm also going to promote it on my Instagram real quick. No. Gotta pick out. Let's see here. Let's see. Hands are one of my favorite things to draw. Sometimes it gets a little tricky with getting the right like knuckle counts and how long you want to make the fingers. But you know, I've gotten used to having my typical shapes, and also getting creative with this sometimes helps. But it's one of my favorite things to draw, actually. Let's see. Live now. Let's see. So normally, depending on like what I'm doing, like either with commissions or on my own, I might just either immediately start inking, or I might just start doing like a cleaner sketch and then go over it with inking. Let's see, what should we do right now? I guess I can start inking the areas here and there. No. No. Anyway, sir. Wait. No. Mm. 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 Another interesting thing to always draw is his jowls, or at least that's why I call them jowls, from his muzzle or snout, whatever you might want to call it. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Quick stretch break. Always make sure you're on the right layers. Go. Some more details here with the scales. So anyone that knows me knows that I love 2D animation, which is the medium I eventually want to start working in. I've dabbled in a few like test animations, things like that, just to see what I can do. And it's a grueling process from what I reckon. So unless I really start putting my like heart into it, I probably won't be doing like the 2D animation myself, outside of maybe a few like my own GIFs that I make or the animation tests, just to see what I can do. But yeah, there's a lot of work, so I might just be the guy who designs all the assets or things like that. But it is, yeah, the medium I do want to eventually work into some capacity, and I want to bring back 2D animated films into the movie space, because I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter as well make an uproar about hoppers, because some of the 2D concept art and video or animation tests have been released, and they look really good, and they're all 2D. So you have the 2D warriors coming out and saying, "Oh, it would have been better in 2D," which I agree with 100%. You know, and not that I don't like 2D or don't see it as on equal footing. I just wish we had more of 2D animation back in the cultural zeitgeist, maybe, or just more 2D animation in general with Hollywood and things like that, because we don't see it nowadays. You know, like Pixar and Toy Story, like nearly like killed 2D animation in the industry for a long while. But here's hoping it does make a comeback soon, because like anime films are doing bangers in the box office with all the new Chainsaw Man movies, My Hero Academia, which they're all good, and I hear people talking about them every day, either in the workplace or just online. So yeah, it's clearly doing well. 2D animation is strong enough to hold its own against 3D, but I think most producers and companies want to play it safe. But if you play it safe for too long, then things stagnate. Things get mediocre. And I think 2D animation, when you do it right, with heart, never becomes that. Man, I guess I might as well go ahead and bring on a few people who might want to join. Since it might be nice to talk to a few folks here. If anyone wants to talk kaiju art or art in general, since it might be fun to have a few more people talking about the medium of kaiju art. Or art in general. Because a lot of my friends and companions do enjoy the 2D medium space as well. One interesting thing to note is that Godzilla himself has been in a few 2D animated projects, most notably Crayon Shin-Chan, which featured Shin Godzilla before the Shin Godzilla movie came out, and had like its own little design. That's cool. And then way before that is the Daikon convention movies, which featured multiple characters, including many different kaiju characters like Mothra, Ultraman, Godzilla, things like that. And those are all really neat. One of my favorite cameos of his is from Urusei Yatsura, Beautiful Dreamer, where the characters are watching the original Godzilla in the movie theater. So lots of cool uses for Godzilla in the 2D medium that have happened over the years. And I think it's high time he gets his own 2D animated feature, since he's gotten plenty of other animated features like the Godzilla Polygon trilogy, which, while very infamous in the community and very maligned even, I don't know, I think it's interesting that we're seeing animated projects with Godzilla, but I just wish they were 2D. And again, I'm not knocking like 3D animation, because I love 3D animation. I think you can do a lot of cool stuff with it, but I just personally prefer 2D animation because it's a lot more. There's a lot more freedom you have with it, you know. Like, and I think the only reason like a lot of like 3D animation has that same thing is because it's copying 2D animation. It's using the same rules as 2D animation so that it can look 2D but also be 3D. Like with the Spider-Verse films, with K-pop Demon Hunters, you're seeing a lot of 3D animated films use those same squash and stretch techniques that are famous to have started with 2D animation, and they're applying it in a more 2D way as opposed to the typical 3D look that most 3D films go for, like the old school Pixar ones. There's nothing too dynamic or too like expressive in the same way 2D can be. And so I think you can bring 2D back and it'll be just as strong as it ever was. And like while I didn't go see it, I heard lots of good things about the day they blew up the Looney Tunes movie. People who have watched it seem to have really liked it. So, and I don't know how well it did, but here's hoping that it just leads to more 2D animated films being brought back. Let's see. Have a look at what we got so far. Pretty good. Let's see. Might work on the gut a little more. A little more gutsy. I don't want Godzilla to be too skinny. That seems alright. Yeah, almost done here. And looking pretty good. I also recently started getting into this little trademark here of like this type of tail separation or something where you separate the underbelly from the top and stuff. So that's sort of what I've been working with. I forget exactly where I got this from. Basically, just to get a bit more layers of detail and things like that. Oh, let's see. Hello, Lau. What is up?
Hi, can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you all right.
Okay, yeah, no, so I have like 15 minutes before I have to go to sleep, because it's going to be 3 a.m. So yeah, since you said you were here. Oh, what are you drawing?
Yeah, look Godzilla we got going on here.
Oh, okay, nice. Uh, I like that it kind of, yeah, it's supposed to be like a Showa-inspired version, right?
Yeah. Yeah, just to show this design since it's like one of the easiest ones for me to draw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This, like, the thing is, I didn't like Showa before as a design or designs, but since I got the SH Monster 72, I just like really started liking it. Like having it in hand just made me just, yeah, it went from one of my least favorite designs to my favorite one. And well, then 62 and 64 were always like really nice. Like I think the 62 design is my favorite. And well, this one kind of looks like that.
Yeah. Yeah, the ones I think are, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, is gonna be like 64, and I think same thing, 62 are some of my favorite show designs.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think 62 is one of the most unique ones, like as a whole.
Yeah, and I think like because that's when he started to remove some of the things though, because like the fangs and the ears
And the
are
ears,
gone.
yeah, it looks kind of like a toad.
Yeah, like either a toad or just more reptilian, which I like personally. I've always enjoyed the more reptilian looking designs.
Yeah, me too.
Let's see. And any recent works you're still working on?
Sorry, what did you? Not really, not at the moment. I'm just, like I'm going to be moving soon back to Argentina, so I'm just writing mostly.
Yeah, because I've been seeing some of your recent pieces, and I think they're really good.
Yeah, actually, like most of the stuff I'm doing is related to the things I'm writing. So I've been writing a lot lately. So for example, for the Flash fiction, I drew like the monster I had in mind, which was the one that you probably saw. Yeah, and then I'm mostly like practicing perspective, so I upload stuff like that. That's not like finished stuff, but it's more like practice. Yeah.
Well, that's always cool to see. I think you have a very cool style, and just the way you draw things and compose things together as well.
Thanks. I like personally, like I almost don't really feel like I have a style. It's like I do what I do, and it kind of works sometimes. But
you got an Amber Alert. But
yeah, what was the?
Yeah, well, we have a Amber Alerts here in good old America.
Ah, okay, it was for real. Okay, I thought it was a joke.
Have you heard the alarm that just went off? Like sometimes they go off every now and again. It's usually for things like natural disaster warnings, small things usually, like flash floods or strong winds, or in the case of some things like kidnappings, things like that.
Okay, yeah, I knew it was for kidnappings because I had a friend who, like, when he walked around, people said, that's why we hear the Amber Alert, because you just went out into the streets. But yeah, what I was saying is that I don't really feel, honestly, like I have much of a style, almost, because like for you to have a style, I feel like you need to almost do it in a almost, I guess, more conscious way. And I don't feel like I have practiced enough to actually have a style that's done like on purpose, right? It's more like, I don't know. I feel like maybe a style is something that you develop more in a more meaningful way. It's not just like the first thing you're capable of doing, it's something you develop. And while I can do that, I don't know, I just look at other people and I feel like they have like a way more developed style, even when they're just sketching. Like, for example, I feel like my line work is like terrible. When it comes to like digital, it's horrible. Like, I don't really know why. I think maybe it's because the pen is more, it's like heavier, when you're drawing on a tablet. And maybe that kind of throws me off. But yeah, I just feel like, fun enough, I can do the best when I'm drawing on paper. And then I go into digital, and it's like it takes so long. Like Minecraft has seen me draw live on streams and stuff like that, and it literally takes me like hours, like 30 minutes maybe at a time to actually get good. It's almost like warming up, basically. And it's like 30 minutes, 20, something like that every time.
Yeah, like I think most artists, when they're starting out, they tend to like pick one or two styles that they want to take influence from, and then start from there. I want to say, because let's see, I'm looking at, you started working on some storyboards, right?
Yeah.
Looking at that, I can sort of see like potential of something like starting to come out, because I think they're really good for what you're doing.
Thanks. Yeah, it's funny, like when you're making like storyboards, you're making like a bunch of drawings at the same time, and you don't really give them like enough time to be like a final thing. But that's kind of nice, because you get to practice composition and perspective and all of these things way faster. It's almost, like instead of shooting once, you have like an AK-47, because you're making so much stuff. And in a way, I feel like that has helped me practice a little, also with clarity, because every single shot is supposed to be, like a shot from a movie, so you need to make it visually clear. It has to, like have a cool composition so people like kind of remember it, and you have to imply certain movements also. So I just feel like if people want to practice composition, even like values, right? Because you need to see how you're going to make this stand out from like the background and stuff like that. And also perspective, the best possible thing you can do is actually do storyboards.
Mm-hmm. Do you have like a favorite either storyboard artist or any artist in general that you like to take influence from?
Actually, I never checked on any storyboard artists. I worked a little bit with storyboarding when I was in film school, but it was like a very small part of it because it's such a niche thing, right? And the truth is that most directors actually can draw for shit. Like we think that like people who do cinema, oh, you must like also be really good at art and really good at this and that, and it's like, yeah, some people are good at only that, right? So I saw a lot of guys who had to do their storyboards, and they were literally just like a circle for the face, kind of like had eyes, like they look really really bad, but because the point is for you to see the composition, where the character is going to be, how close the camera is and all of that, it's not really important. But at the same time, when you have like a really good reference for the storyboard, I feel like it's clearly better and it helps a lot in the shooting and all of that.
Yeah.
But because of that lack of pressure, yeah, no, I never actually got so. My classes never got so detailed that I actually got my teacher to tell me, okay, so this is, I don't know, Bob, right? And Bob is like the number one storyboarder in the USA or something like that. We never actually got so in detail with stuff like that. Funny enough, my animation teacher actually worked on Hercules. He worked with Disney during the Renaissance, and should I say, okay, I'm not saying who it is or where I studied, so I guess it's fine. He stole a Bible from Hercules, and if you don't know what a Bible is, it's basically like the thing with all of the character designs.
Oh
yeah, all of the orthos and way more things. Like it has like a bunch of details on the backgrounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Minecraft, you're here. Sorry, I didn't see you.
Yeah, welcome, Minecraft.
Yeah, I've been here for a bit.
Nah, just like a second or two. But yeah, I think I know what you mean. Like, I forget what they're called exactly. Like lore Bibles or like style Bibles, something
Pitch
like that.
Pitch Bibles.
Pitch Bibles. There you go.
Yeah, they called it, at least in my language, production Bibles, because they are supposed to be taken as a reference for basically every single thing, depending on how complete it is. And yeah, he had like the full one for Hercules. It was like a huge fucking thing. And he was like, if you ever tell anyone, I'm gonna kill you. Because he wasn't supposed to have it, right? But again, I'm not saying names, not even countries or continents, so it should be fine.
Did you ever encounter like a discussion on like the differences between, say, like either US or other types of productions as opposed to, say, something like Japanese storyboards? Because I know there's like a cultural difference in how they do it.
So the main difference, even more than culture, is storyboarding for animation and storyboarding for live action. Because the thing is, for animation, the storyboard is a part of the production that will go into the final product, like directly into the final product. And in live action, it's a reference. It's kind of like the script. in a way, right? Like it's just meant to accelerate the process so everyone knows what they're trying to do. But in animation, it's like, no, it's like you will literally draw on top of this thing and use it as part of the animation cycle when you're doing like keyframe animation, you're doing in betweens, all of that, you're doing all of that on top of the storyboard. Like basically it's kind of like math, you're building on top of the previous thing to get to the end result. And in live action is a little bit of a parallel thing. Instead of building on top of it, you're using it as a tool to advance on what you're trying to do, but it's not like it has any way of going into like the actual movie, right? Because it's a piece of paper. So yeah, that's the main difference. And then when it comes to regional differences, when it comes to like animation or live action, the reading order changes, right? So normally you will have in Japanese animation, I think it's like vertical order for the storyboards, or at least the ones I've seen, because I know that they write in vertical sometimes and they also write in horizontal. So, stuff like that can vary. But the main difference is that one, live action versus animation.
Yeah. By the way, which Godzilla design are you drawing?
This is sort of like just like a hodgepodge of like Showa type Godzillas. No specific one, but Showa era is definitely the vibe I'm going with. With some hints of Millennium, because I mentioned before, like my favorite like dorsal plate designs come from like the Showa or Millennium era.
Gotcha. Also, I want to ask, do you guys have any like critiques or criticisms for my Titanus Shimo? Because I want to take some of those and translate them into the design I use for Godzilla: The Arrival.
I don't really have. Well, I think I told you like the shape of the beak was a little bit too thin, maybe.
I changed
I
that.
think you changed it. Yeah,
I changed that before the final design, before like that design, but yeah, because I don't want to really leave it the same, because obviously you need to factor in stuff like toy sales and the whole production bullshit, changes in design to give collectors the new design stuff and make things different and blah blah blue. So
then in that case, not really. Oh yeah, actually I know. I would add shine to the armor pieces, because if they're meant to be like icy, I think that the same way that Vic added that white dot on Godzilla's eye, a little bit of shine actually makes it really pop. You don't have to do it on every single spine, but in some spines maybe you can add that.
Maybe on like the larger ones.
Exactly. Yeah, you can do that, and I think that's going to make it look way more.
Maybe I'll just make the spines brighter.
No, it's a different thing, because like it's not about the color of the spine itself. It's the fact that if it's supposed to be icy or crystal-like, normally you will have like a little bit of that almost pure white shine on the edges. It's kind of like when you have water, or as I said, like the eye. It's like
I know what you're talking. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'll try that, and make the spikes a little brighter, and then maybe give her some extra fur or something. And yeah, I also, because basically the idea that I have, there's my Shimo. Yeah, basically the idea that I have with this Shimo is that because she's been trapped underground for so long, she's much weaker than she used to be, and so by the time of Godzilla: The Arrival, she's already regained a whole lot of strength. But she's also more timid. Like, she doesn't actively seek a fight unless she has to, in which case Godzilla is threatened, she's going to step in. So, yeah.
Yeah, I actually really do love the colors you went with, and I do like the small little hints of like the cracks and the crystals. I think those play together really well.
I wanted to go for something a little bit more ceratopsian or dinosaurian like for Shimo, instead of strictly draconic or sticking to real world animals. Because a lot of others, they're either very close to the original design or so deviant. I wanted to do my own thing with Shimo, but try to keep the spirit of a chained ice dragon creature in there. And so I think having her basically weakened of that ice, that darker blue by contrast, it just kind of works. And then I didn't want to make the design all that plain, so armor, fur along the spikes, and then I changed to the Thagamizer for a tail club, and I made the head more closer to a ceratopsian rather than what it actually was. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I actually realized why I thought that the beak was still like really thin. And it's because like, yeah, the outline is fine, but then because I always tell you the same, so I feel like you're going to like get tired of me, but because the lines are so thick, it almost makes the
thing is like, the lines were originally much worse. I tried not to make them thick outside of the armor and spikes.
Minecraft.
I was trying to avoid that.
Do you make the lines thicker because it hides the defects? Is that why you do it?
Yeah. No, yeah, because it hides the defects, and because I struggle to work with like transparent, like, you know how the paint fades out on some variants? I struggle with that hard because it throws me off. And so like, I think it's because I use the pixelation tool that's what makes the lines significantly thicker. Plus it's also like, I don't know, it's old habits die hard. It's something I'm trying to break. Granted, this is thinner than what I normally would do, so...
Yeah, no, it is. It's just that because you have like such a close, acute corner, most of the edge of that beak is literally just a black line instead of the white inside. So that's what I was referring to. It's just that I remember, right, before Big pulled it out, that it was looking kind of thin, but I didn't exactly have the reference at the time, so I couldn't tell you why. Now that Big like started sharing it, I realized.
If you notice, I accidentally used 2 different shades of white.
Talking about shades of white.
Yeah, I used a yellow. If you zoom in, Vic, like zoom into where the hind leg, where like the chest,
like the middle of the body, right? You have like a colder, almost greenish white.
Yeah, yellowish, like, a yellowish slightly white, and then it hard fades into like a reddish white, and then the yellowish white is dotted around, and it's like, ah.
I think you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Basically, warm right and cold.
There?
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Thing is, it was like, it works kind of like shading, but it also really bothers me.
you know, it's funny you talk about shading, because I told you this. I thought that the fur was supposed to be, you know, like shadow, because Shimo was going to be lit up from the bottom. Right, so the first time I noticed it, it was like, oh, Minecraft is like playing with like lighting, and I thought that it was incomplete, right? Because of course the light wouldn't be like that if she was being lit from the top. So maybe what I will tell you is maybe you could add more texture to the fur. So from far away, it looks a little bit more fluffy. Or at least like mammoths have like this woolly texture, right? Like it's very messy, and I feel like it's mostly in between the spine. Oh, I wish I had like a way to share the thing.
I think if you have like something here on the neck, if you go more like shaggy along the edge of like where it starts going to the back.
Because the edge right there is a bit too uniform, and I feel like fur will be a little bit messier. That's why the first time I thought that it was you trying to do shading.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So thanks, Vic.
I'll keep that in mind for the arrival design. As is, I'm pretty happy with this, but yeah, there definitely are things I could improve. Ironically, considering my main kaiju is fluffy, has fur, I struggle a lot with hair and fur.
Oh, there are some ways. Wait, I think no. So I'm on the phone actually, but wait, let me see if I can send Vic like a picture of something I copied from Matt Frank. Where is it? Because fur actually is way easier than people think. But you just need to copy from someone, right? Because you need to learn how other people do it. And so, where is it? I'm looking for this thing.
Well, you look for that. You can send it to me on Discord if you got me there.
Yeah. Okay, here
what program do you use? Minecraft?
Photoshop.
Photoshop.
I think with Scar King, I did a little better with the fur because there's more of it. With Shimo, it's on specific parts of her body, so it's like it's not covering her entirely, and that's kind of what was throwing me off.
Okay, I just sent you the picture. If you can share it when possible, I'll explain.
Have you thought about like switching programs in the future, Minecraft?
I have considered it once I leave college, because obviously I don't know if I'd still have access to the Adobe Suite, and Adobe is Adobe. So yeah, I know Animus recommended GIMP, and I might try that. I'll see if I could find any others that work. So yeah.
Okay, so this is the thing I did that, this is the first time I did fur. I do have to say, clearly, like I took a picture of a page, so the definition is not like the highest, but if it's possible to zoom in maybe and into the foot, like the leg, okay, I think, the quality is going to be a little bit fucked up, because again, as I said, this is the picture of something that I did on paper, so it's not like scanned. But basically there's like this pattern on the fur that actually I know a better example that I can send you, that's going to show you exactly what I did with the pen. Megatron, so Megatron G1 gun, I think. Let's see if I can find. So basically there's a very simple pattern, like for real, that you can use. Okay, I think I have it here. But it's bad resolution too, god damn it. Okay. Okay, I have it now. Okay, I'm going to send you the picture, Vic. So it's going to sound really stupid, but the pattern that you see in this Megatron gun that Vic is going to show you, this is what you do to simulate fur. This is actually one of the many techniques you can use besides just making like straight lines. Okay, if you can zoom in on the barrel, or yeah, do you see that pattern that's basically like on the gun?
Yes, I think.
Okay, Funny enough, the one that looks like circles that then goes like I really cannot describe this in
This
English.
one?
I'm sorry. Yeah, the ones that are more repetitive. That's like right, that one exactly that. I know it sounds maybe weird because you're looking at this on a gun, right? But what I need you to think is that if you do that over and over again, it actually looks like fur, and it also helps with shading. And then if I had like a better picture of the, I'm going to send you the actual Matt Frank one maybe, you'll notice that yeah, he does the same thing. No, it's not Matt Frank. Oh, god damn it, that's such an insult. It was Arthur Adams, sorry, who drew the Godzilla versus the King Kong versus Godzilla.
That's from the Criterion Collection set, right?
Yeah. He made the poster for that one. So I wanted to, practice some things, so I literally just like copied it, but because my pages were like horizontal, I had to modify the thing. Now, I'm going to send this black and white version because I think that this will actually be clearer, and you'll see the pattern that we literally just took a look at in the gun, and you'll notice that it's actually, like it is used for Kong, for example, here. This is the last picture, by the way, Vic. I just wanted you to know that I'm not going to keep sending over and over.
You're good.
Yeah, no, and I apologize for hijacking the stream. I just really wanted some advice.
No.
You guys were talking about.
No, this is the stream. This is the stream.
Yeah,
we're talking about art.
But yeah, I can see what you're talking about. That like repeating pattern. Simulating the
from
fur.
far away, it looks like it's lines, just straight up lines. But when you look at it from really up close, you realize that it's what you were looking at in the gun, which is like it's almost like a fucking optical illusion. It helps with shading, and it's great, and I do it very, very often.
Yeah.
It's one of the techniques you can use.
Yeah.
This Kong right here has a fuck ton of different things that I learned on how to do fur.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll keep that in mind because the one after Shimo is probably going to be Behemoth, if the poll is anything to go by.
Yeah. Oh, I do want to say one thing though. I don't know how that will look on your more simple style. I worry that could be a little bit over detailed in comparison to everything else. Yeah, maybe it won't match well, but the thing is, repeating patterns like that.
But like,
if you do it a little bit, I don't think that it should.
Yeah, no, like maybe sporadically. I'll try to keep that in mind.
Yeah, exactly.
For Shimo's upgrade design and for Shimo's arrival design, and then I'll keep it also in mind for Behemoth, Camazotz, Griffin, Kong, and King Caesar. Those are the characters in the roster, and then I don't. That's pretty much everyone who has fur in this roster. So, yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Let's see. Have you ever tried playing with line art and stuff? Like line art styles?
I actually have. In fact, that's in my character design class. That's actually what I'm doing. Like, the next assignment is I have to design a character and draw that character in 3 different styles. Like 3 different art styles. So that should be fun. It's specifically
that's the thing you said about the
style.
pangolin, right? Or is it a different exercise?
It's a different exercise. The pangolin was like animal designs. Yeah, no, this is a different one. We have to do a 2D style. I'm a 3D style and a international style. So like anything that isn't a Western art style, from like ancient cultures or other cultures. So I am doing Derek J. Wyatt's art style, the guy who did the art design for Teen Titans 2003, Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, Ben 10 Omniverse, and Transformers Animated, among plenty of other shows. Rest in peace, King. And
Dude,
then for
yeah,
the 3D style, I'm doing...
You said his name, and I immediately knew who the guy was, yeah, because of Animated. I didn't know that he made that Ben 10 remake show.
It's not a remake, it's a sequel. It's a sequel season.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, he also worked on Teen Titans, the original one. But yeah, and then the 3D style is a Lego minifigure because fuck it, I want to be wacky. And then the mythological style, I'm basing it off of Japanese artwork. So you get 3 different ends of the spectrum, all of them generally similar. I mean, there has been anime art styles translated into Lego before, so it is entirely possible. And I'm not boiling like Japanese traditional art down to anime because obviously they have very different aesthetics. I'm just stating because Derek's art style has very anime-esque influences. It can be translated. So.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Let's see.
Yeah. Again, I apologize for hijacking the stream.
Oh no, believe you me, this is like the whole point of the Drawcast, where we basically talk about art and whatever facet we can. So I welcome, artistic tangents. And then Godzilla Kiru says, "Hey guys."
Hi.
Hello there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. You still got time, Lau, and as well as you, Minecraft, to talk, or what's going on with you guys?
For 10 more minutes.
I'm good for as long as need be, though I am... What time even is it? Oh yeah, no, I'm good.
What? There you go.
I'm good. Disappears out of the face of the earth.
That's perfect, man. But let's see, we'll wait to see if he comes on. Let's see. What else is there to talk about artistic wise? Because so you say you still are working on a style. Are there any like particular styles you would want to try taking influence from, or?
Oh, so yeah, actually the one I showed you, Arthur Adams, is the main goal I have. There is also like a couple of stuff that I did copy from Matt Frank. So basically it's like a mixture between Matt Frank and Arthur Adams. And one thing that I noticed is that there's a lot of people that take from Matt Frank who are like newer artists that are trying to do, like Godzilla stuff. But because of that, I'm going more in the Arthur Adams way with some stuff, like minor details from Matt Frank. Because the thing is, Matt Frank has this thing where he makes very unique eyes, if you've noticed. I can always tell when someone, when something is made by Matt Frank because of the eyes. And I noticed in the last couple of 2 to 3 years that some new people are copying his eyes, right? So now you look at something and you think to yourself, okay, that's Matt Frank, and it's actually like someone else. So because more people are trying to, learn from him, I'm trying to do something more like this that you're showing right now with Arthur Adams, which is way more detailed, and ironically, line work is basically everything, and that's the thing I fail at on digital. So yeah, the misery. Everyone wants to be my enemy.
Yeah. I know, like with line art and things like that, it already depends on like what style you want to go for, like either realism or like semi-realism or even cartoon, and then like the type of brush you use or pen really
Yeah,
matters.
yeah, that's another little problem I have, which is like I don't have like a lot of cool brushes, right? I have like the basic stuff that comes on Krita, and then I see some people draw, and it's like, for fuck's sake, right? Right, like you see the difference in some brushes and stuff like that. Uh, but okay, wait, I'm going to send you a picture. This again is from me taking a picture from the computer, so probably the quality is not going to be like 100% there, but it should be clearer than what I was doing with, like the old pictures I took from my stuff on paper. So this is what I try to do. I try to do everything on black and white, and this is done on digital, the thing I just sent you. I tried doing it on paper, but the thing is, at the time I didn't really know perspective, right? I had never even done like a basic class of perspective, so I stopped doing it because I was like, okay, someday I'm going to like practice, right, and learn. So if I keep going, I will literally just have to redo a lot of things because I'll probably do the perspective wrong. So if you look at the leg that Godzilla ripped off Kumonga, the one that he's holding, there's like this huge white chunk, which clearly is supposed to be, like the stuff coming from the leg. Yeah. But that has no shading, right? Because my problem is that now that I kind of know perspective a little bit better, I now just need to learn how to do, like different techniques for different, like, what would you call it, like substances? Because clearly it's not the same for me to shade the Kumonga legs or Godzilla than to shade like the inside of the leg, right? Because it's like, that's wet. How do I draw it, right? Like, how do I shade it so it doesn't look like it's like this dry thing, like it's supposed to be very gooey. And another thing was that I was supposed to have like a splash of blood coming in between Godzilla's leg and Kumonga's head, because he's like literally stepping on him, so there should be like a splash of blood. And I also at that point was like, okay, how do I do that? Because I don't know how to do that, right? And because I was learning from Arthur Adams, and he has never really done something like that, I have literally like almost no reference. And the things I learned how to do are not really compatible with this type of art style, and they just stick out like a sore thumb. Because you can do liquid stuff with shading, right? Like you can do, different types of gray, for example. You use like dark for the heavy shadows, because liquid has shadows just like everything else. And if it's going to be yellow blood, it's going to be dense, therefore it's not translucent, therefore you can shade it, and that's probably going to be the best way to do it. And if you use a grayscale, that can be really useful. But as you can imagine, with the style I have, if I just use grayscale for the liquid, it's almost going to look like when you have like really bad CGI in a 90s movie. It's just going to like look really ugly, even if the liquid itself actually is well shaded. So I need to think of how to do that. And my other idea is maybe I could just leave it blank. Maybe the only color I add is the yellow inside the leg, and the splashes coming from Kumonga. That's something that I could do, right? So everything's black and white, but that thing in specific remains only one shade of yellow. Not even shading, right? Like I could just do like yellow, period. And because the only blood that you'll have is coming from bugs, like it will not be that much of a problem. I'm hoping, because it will literally just be yellow on right behind Kumonga's head, a little bit of yellow coming from Kamakura's, and a little bit of yellow that will break up between the leg and the hand of Godzilla. So I think that it could be fine, right? So I'll experiment with that. I'll fix the perspective issues that this might have at the time, because I learned very recently about 5-point perspective. So now I'm going to start applying that. And overlap, which is clearly I'm using overlap in this. But the thing about overlap is that a lot of people don't want to actually do it, because the problem is that once you really do overlap right, you realize that you're covering up a lot of detail that you probably want to show, right? For example, someone different than me might want to change the pose because the leg of Godzilla is covering up his whole torso, and they want to draw all of that to show off a little bit, right? But someone that understands perspective a little bit better knows that that leg needs to cover everything, or else nothing really makes sense. So yeah, Kumonga's head clearly covers up the entire foot. You don't get to see the claws, but there's like an instinctive part of your head that wants to maybe show one claw, so it's inferred that like you're stepping on it, even though it's not really necessary. So yeah, I just have to check on a couple of things. Clearly, also I have some trees covering up part of Kumonga's legs and stuff like that, because if you were looking at it from below, like trees will be clearly covering up some of the action. Yeah, now I just need to finish it. But for the most part, this is it. I was thinking of adding Gaigan somewhere, but it's a little bit too much. I don't think it is a good idea at this point.
I think for the most part, the roster of characters you have here is quite perfect. The line art of what you have completed so far is stellar, and I think.
Did you pause this one after a bit? Because Did you pause this one after a bit? Because I haven't seen you touch this one in a long time.
I've been practicing perspective and going. So I started my perspective course 6 months ago, right? So in those 6 months, I decided, I'm going to pause this straight up, because also, and Minecraft, you were there for this, my line work on digital was bad, like this.
Oh yeah, because that was when you first got the drawing tablet and you were starting to learn how to use it, right?
Yeah, and that was also part of it, right? Because since I was learning, I was having a lot of fucking problems. And for example, one of the things that I learned in perspective is, fun enough, liquid. That was one of the first things that we learned. And now I'm going to show you what I can do for water, for example, and how I think that I could apply this for the blood if I needed to, but because of style I'm going to do something different. But basically, water is just something that you need to draw over a surface that already exists. So when you're drawing water, you need to understand what's below the water, right? You need to understand where the pressure is added, so you can add the foam, where it gets darker, where it gets lighter. And so you can also apply that to blood, right? But I just learned so much that now I feel like I can do it fine. Funny enough, I'm about to move, and I won't probably have my computer in who knows how long, so fuck me, right? Right when I feel like I'm ready to do the thing, I have to put everything on pause. But I still have paper, so I will keep drawing. It's just that this project I have will remain like this for quite a long time. But I'm thinking of adding Gaigan on top of Godzilla's tail, almost as if he was jumping from really high up and about to like slash down on Godzilla. And then I don't think that I'm going to add anything else, because I feel like the space will be way too crowded if I add something else.
Yeah. Something I wanted to add when you were talking about like struggling to find how to do your liquid in the Kumanga thing is like, I wanted to recommend some other artists, because I think that's like, if you can't find something directly from like Arthur Adams, who you referenced, and to find style, you might want to explore other artists. I think Junji Ito and his work would help you find the right texture and lighting to do for the leg, or like the leg meat inside Kumanga. Because I think Junji Ito does a lot of good work. Yeah, there's a lot of cool grotesque work with liquids, and so I think if you study his art, you'll find like the perfect way to do yours.
Yeah, it's funny. I always like Junji Ito and Arthur Adams are almost like, Junji Ito is almost like the Japanese Arthur Adams, and Arthur Adams is almost like the American Junji Ito, right? It's like their level of detail and line art is very similar. It's different, but at the same time, it's like the level of complexity is almost like on the same level. And I never thought of that. Like, okay, so Junji Ito, basically I just need to look at gore and stuff like that and see what he does.
Yeah, like I would recommend like maybe Uzumaki, because there's a lot of things he does there with like, because like there's this one image I might share up here. Viewer discretion advised.
I do have Uzumaki. Funny
you have
enough,
it?
I think the reason why I never thought of Junji Ito is because I didn't like Uzumaki.
You didn't? Damn.
Which is like a sin. Yeah, because people who love
I haven't
Ito,
read it, so like, so that's interesting.
So it's just style. It's narrative style. I don't like some of these Japanese horrors because the characters have so many opportunities to leave, and they don't. And not only that, it's also like, okay, so yesterday we saw how two people were molding into each other, then they turned into like a giant snake, and then they went to the sea. I have school today, so I guess I cannot escape, right? Because I have a math exam. And it's like, bitch, leave. Yeah, actually, like my father is going insane, and he has started hallucinating, and there's spirals in his eyes. Leave. Well, I cannot leave because my mom is, really stressed out with all of this, It's like, I have to stay here. And it's like, at that point, I'm just like ripping hairs out of my head. And it's like, I cannot read this anymore. Like, the main character, she has a boyfriend who even is telling her to, hey, we should like fucking escape. Things are going to get just worse. And she's always like, nah. So
grab
that
your
frustrates
mother
me so much.
So basically, grab your mother by the hair and run.
Exactly. That's my problem, And I know that this might sound like super fucking autistic, but it's actually the same reason why when I was little, I didn't like Phineas and Ferb, because the mom being unable to see the fucking things when she was nearing the house always frustrated me. Because I was like, just look up, you stupid bitch, just look up. And she never did, and she never noticed anything, right? So when characters ignore...
See, for me, I just found that to be really funny. Like,
I get it. Yeah, it's just, like different tastes, and I think that some people will find it incredibly funny that I'm mad about that, right? Like they might find that even funnier than the thing itself, like the fact that it obsesses me to the point of frustration. But yeah, no, it's just like a me thing, and because of that, I don't like Uzumaki, but I like other things that he has done. It's just Uzumaki in specific.
Yeah.
You know, because it's such a long story that it's basically day after day you see horrible things and you still decide not to leave, right? And it's like over the course of like a month, it feels basically, or like 2 weeks. So plenty of time for them to decide to use common sense and go away. If Uzumaki was sold during like 3 days, maybe, I think that will be perfect. But clearly it happens, you know, they have way more time to react than they never do.
Yeah, I think I've heard similar things before from other readers and critics online.
Anyways, I am going to head out. So
yeah, I'll probably end the stream here then. We're at the hour 30 mark, so that's pretty good. If you guys want to do your shillings before you head out, feel free to do so now.
Okay. You can find me on YouTube, Minecraft World 1954. That's my ad. I do kaiju stuff. I have essays in the work, and I have my book, Light in the Black Lake. Keep an eye out for that. Find me on Instagram. Find me on Kara. Find me on Blue Sky. I post stuff on there. I am more active on Instagram than I am on Kara or Blue Sky, so keep that in mind. But yeah, and go watch Iron Lung. Actually, wait, no, you can't watch Iron Lung yet because you can't watch Iron Lung now because it's not on DVD, nor is
go
it in
play
theaters anymore.
Iron Lung.
Yeah, go play Iron Lung then, I guess. Yeah, bye.
All right, Lau, go ahead.
So you can find me almost everywhere by the name Kaskeg, Kaskeg. Yeah, I have X, Instagram, YouTube, and yeah, I basically just draw. I'm currently working on remaking the Violante fight, the final fight in Godzilla vs. Violante. So the thing that we were talking about in the beginning of the stream is basically what I'm doing. I'm doing a storyboard for the whole fight and trying to, you know, add some more versatility to the choreography, add more interesting shots, and yeah, it's actually surprisingly good so far. I'm halfway through the fight basically, so now I need to do a second half and I need to do something unique. I'm like, my goal is to make something that's like actually like really nice and a clear improvement on the fight that we actually get. So yeah, I will be moving out, so probably progress will slow down. But once you follow me, I will probably start updating everything. And yeah. Also, if you go on Sims Discord, I'm also always sharing the works in progress for everything. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, of course, guys, you can always find me here on the Kaijunaut YouTube channel. You can find me on various social media platforms as either Crispy Vic or Vic Monstrous. I do have commissions open on my Coffee page, so go ahead and check that out as Vic Monstrous. And other than that, thank you everyone for coming on. Thank you to the viewers for joining. Until next time, Kaiju Seekers, over and out.